All right, welcome back, Chicago Hockey Radio. I'm Lee Grossman. In the studio with me, Mr. Justin Lynch, a.k.a. Mr. B-Hawks Memes.
That's me.
Tassos Kirkos is still under the weather, so he's not going to be on the show this morning, unfortunately.
After the chapter, Tassos.
Yeah. R.I.P. Tassos. Stinks. It's one day before the Winter Classic, but the boys must move. Some housekeeping stuff before we get into the episode. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok. Be sure to like and give 5 stars on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Link to the Discord. We have a Discord. Is that in the description still, Raven?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yes. Big Discord pod now. So shout out to Raven for setting that up. Justin, how are you feeling this Monday morning?
Well, I should be feeling more excited, right? I mean, we got the Winter Classic to look forward to tomorrow. But I don't know about you. Excuse me, Jesus. I'm more nervous for tomorrow's game, the Winter Classic, after that performance last night. That was pretty brutal. I think we said in the post-game show, I think probably the worst game of the season for the Blackhawks. Consecutive bad games, like since they've been back from the Christmas break, it just hasn't looked like the same team. I mean, even the games we were losing before that, at least they were close games. They were looking good, I thought, leading into the break. But since we come out of it, it's not been going well. So hopefully we can get our shit together for tomorrow. Big game, Winter Classic. I mean, this is our Super Bowl. This is kind of our season, this game, right? So we want to put on a good performance and don't want to play the way we have the last 2 nights, that's for sure.
No, and I woke up this morning just feeling numb. I don't know.
Comfortably numb?
Tired. No, not like in a good way at all. Like, just this team is... You bring Sorensen in, and we have the little bump there. Sorry, I need to raise this mic. This is a little closer to my face. All right, I'm having some technical difficulties here. I feel like this spot that we're in right now, going into, as you said, like the most important game of the season, we're in a horrible spot. Yeah. Like... We've lost 4 straight now, and the last 2 have been really ugly, getting absolutely pumped. I don't know. You've got Mrazek back. It looks like he's probably going to be the one starting tomorrow.
Woo.
Which it's like, exactly, because ever since he's come back, he's had a couple of games. And
he's not been the same goalie.
And he hasn't looked very impressive.
No.
And then you send Korchinski down to Rockford. It's one of the bright spots the past few games.
Yeah, I thought he was playing fine. I don't think it was warranted.
Has been watching him, even he wasn't playing horribly, so he should be in the lineup. That's kind of how I view it.
Yeah, I prefer him up here than Louis Crevier. I just think he's an AHL player. And Korchinski, I don't think he really did anything that warranted him being sent down. I know he maybe had a few turnovers, a few mistakes, but it's like, who cares? It's NHL. Make those mistakes, learn from it, grow from it. I thought just compared to last year, he looked like a different player. So I think the timing too, right before, you couldn't at least wait until after the Winter Classic. You're going to send this guy down right before the big game. If I were in his shoes, man, that would just piss me off. I hope he takes it personally and has a good rest of the season here. Hopefully, he goes back down to Rockford with some renewed confidence. I think Drew Comesso's looked really good the last, since he's been down there. I know he only played one game with us, but I think just having that time up with the Hawks and getting sent back down, hopefully you'll see him it'll be too easy for him, that league, right? So that's kind of the thought process for development. I get it from that standpoint. Wyatt Kaiser, he's okay.
I just don't.
We just set him down though. He was there for 4 games. I don't understand why now. It's we gotta call this guy back up, and I probably would have called up somebody like Phillips ahead of him. I've just never really been that impressed with him, to be honest with you. He's a good skater, right? He's got his tools, but I don't know. It doesn't really move me.
I saw some stuff that they're just kind of making room for Martinez to get back and put him back in the lineup. Yeah. But my concern with the Korchinski situation is that it might not make him hungry. It might just make him feel slighted. Yeah. You come up, he hasn't had insane games where he's scoring 3 points. He hasn't scored at all. But I thought he's looked okay.
He's looked confident, right? So playing with confidence, getting involved in the O-zone, and I know the stats don't back that up. Same for Frank, right? If you just look at the stats of both those players, you think, oh, they got to be sent down. But if you're watching the games, they've been playing well. And I think Frank the Tank too. I hope he's not next, right? I see that move as oh, they're sending Kevin down. It's I hope that's not going to be the plan for Frank too. I think he's been playing well. I know the 1 assist in 8 games doesn't really show that, but I think he's played better than the stats suggest. Same with Kevin. I thought, no points in 9 games, but that doesn't tell the whole story.
I think that if you send these guys down, fans and people like us are going to be way more critical of the team and of management, because if you don't have the young players playing, it's kind of you look around and you question what are we doing here? If we're not playing these young players that we've drafted in the past few years, what's the point of this team being as bad as it is? And so I think when you send those guys down, you kind of throw away that safety blanket of we're losing, but we're playing all of our young players.
I think it sends the wrong message. And it's like you said, just not what a rebuilding team should be doing. It's not what the Sharks are doing. And it's funny, they're in a similar position as us record-wise, that you think we'd be having completely different seasons the way the media talks about it. I think it's kind of for that reason, right?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. People are acting like the San Jose Sharks are the best team to watch in hockey right now, which... to be fair, they've been doing all the things that we aren't.
They're more fun to watch than we are. Yeah. I will give them credit there. And the way the media talks about, Celebrini, you think he's having an insane season compared to Bedard, which he is. He is having a great season, point per game. But it's you look at Bedsy, what he's doing on this Hawks team. It's it's not really any different. He's not doing anything that Bedsy wasn't doing last season. So I'm not really sure what's up with that. But that's the media for you.
Yeah, I think Betsy's going to outpace all these Calder guys.
Oh yeah, he's already doing that. Michkov's in a slump right now, and that was due. And I'm sure the same thing will happen. With Macklin, probably eventually. It's inevitable. And now it's the media are crickets now from that regard. And Betsy's been lighting it up. That's if there's one positive thing about the Hawks' poor play is Betsy's still producing, and he has been producing a lot better under Sorensen. Does it have much to do with Sorensen, or is that just Betsy figuring out? It's probably just Betsy figuring it out. The 5% shooting percentage.
I think it's probably both.
It's probably both, but the 5% shooting percentage was not going to last. I think he's been shooting something ridiculous the last few games. So it's finally going back up to where he was. I think he was 10.7 last year, so it's kind of around that range now. And hopefully he can still put up 25 plus goals or something. I think it's doable. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And we all know that was the main point of the season was to see him to continue to succeed and develop.
And you look at it, it's not a regression. 32 points, 37 games. The points per game. Before he broke his jaw, he had 33 and 39. So 32 and 37. I'm sure he's going to go off the Winter Classic. So for all that media talk, especially, listen to the game last night, man. You think these ESPN announcers, you think he'd be having some terrible slump of a season, but he's not. He really isn't. He only has 9 goals. He made that 10, by the way. Took that personally. But I was I was yelling at my TV, how many assists? How many assists? They don't talk about that. They just think goals is the only thing that matters there. So
yeah, and that's also because of people see the shot and kind of what he did in before the NHL. They think he's going to be like more Austin Matthews. Like that's who they think about when
Patrick
they think
Kane.
of. But he's closer to a Patrick Kane than he is to an Austin Matthews. And also, I think that's something that we, as like people who cover the team and are fans of him and the team, as well as himself, are going to have to get used to. Is he's always going to face more criticism. Like, yeah, he can be outperforming his peers, and people are still going to be questioning, like, oh, he's not reaching his full potential. Like, what's going on? Because he is that good. And I don't know about you, but when I watch him, I have no doubt that he's going to be the creme de la creme, one of the best players in the world, if not the best player, in a few years.
Oh, yeah, he's going to have his time, right? He's going to have his time. It takes time, though. Like not all young players, it's a seamless process, right? You look at guys like Jack Hughes and Nathan McKinnon. It was not seamless their first few years. And you look at why was that the case? Well, the teams weren't that good, at first. But when the team gets better, the player gets better. I think you're going to see that with Bedard, too, right? I mean, as good as he is, he's only human. Could be as good as the team around him, right? He elevates guys. We saw that with Khrushchev last year. We had probably, we know about the downfall he's had this season. But it's like, you look at Betsy and the players you put with him. Like, he makes them better like Patrick Kane does. But there's only so far he can go with that, with the players on the squad, right? And you look at it, he's still the leading producer on this team by a mile. You look at the guys in that Calder conversation you mentioned, Michkov, Celebrini, they have a lot more around them in terms of talent, right? Michkov's got guys like Travis Konechny, and Celebrini's got guys like, Granlund and, Will Smith with them. It's not the same, Toffoli. It's not the same, level of talent around him, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Going forward with this season, you and I have kind of talked about it. I'm okay with losing. I'm fine. Oh, yeah. It's not losing that bothers me.
Losing the right way.
It's about how you lose. Like,
not the last 2 nights.
You need to show5, grit, some sort of resiliency. The last 2 games have not been that at all.
Yeah.
And like just watching that game last night and watching the highlights back again this morning, like it really did feel like the team kind of just gave up after the Bertuzzi game misconduct. And that's not the type of stuff we want to be seeing at all, and especially going into the last game before your Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, Seth Jones kind of brought up in the interview after the game. It's like it's a 3-1 game going to the third period, right? You're down 2 goals. It's a hockey game, right? Yeah. And it's like just the way they started that period, like with goal 10 seconds in, that was just a joke. I mean, you talked about the post game, and like things in this team, like they happen to blur so quick, you kind of like miss stuff. But it's like you're watching the highlights after, you're like, how can we let this happen, dude? Like that's just not NHL hockey right there. It's not going to cut it.
Yeah, can we play? Do we have the Jones clip?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we have Seth Jones. Like, yeah, he's just describing what happened early in the third period.
Can we play that one?
The goal specifically, or
just the whole? Yeah.
I honestly don't know. Okay. We sucked in the first 5 minutes of that period, and against a good team, it's going to happen. Against any team, it's going to happen.
They have 15 minutes of power play. It's kind of hard to win a game like that, right?
Definitely. Our PK has been good all year for us.
Yeah, I mean, I like the honesty. They're just saying, yeah, we sucked. That's pretty much what I kept repeating on the post game. Yeah, they sucked.
Yeah, dude, I like Seth, bro. I think he's likable. I love that honesty. But at the same time, we have to be honest and
he was a part of that. He did not have a good game,
and has been bad since he's come back. He made a note about the PK and how our PK has been excellent. What were we, like 6 for 7?
Yeah, so that means, look, it goes to show just how bad this team has been at even strength this season. Stars scored 5 goals. They had 7 power plays, and only 1 of them was on the power play. It's baffling to me. And the Hawks did have a power play goal, although they did nothing on the other 3 or 4 they had. It was nothing after that. But
something, though, that I do think is worth mentioning that we didn't talk about. I kind of brought it up, but I didn't have this specific stat, but Dallas are like, I want to say 27th in the league in power play. They're like
missing Pavelski.
It's like 15%. They're one of the worst power plays in the league, and they haven't scored on one in a while. So low-key conceding 1 out of 7 is kind of bad to what you're talking about.
Well, yeah, I mean, to be fair, they did get like a 5-minute power play there in the second period with the Bertuzzi misconduct, which we could talk more about that. That was, I thought that was pretty harsh there. I mean, yeah, it was a penalty, but a game misconduct for that, really? I hope he doesn't face more repercussions for that, but I don't think he should, because I think it was just incidental contact and accident, but I guess they said, oh, if a player's injured, it doesn't matter, but well, that's a kind of weird rule if that's the case.
And that is so dumb,
Yeah.
right? We talked about it last night. It's like, no, you're literally encouraging with that rule. You're encouraging people to embellish, which is like, that's like everybody's favorite thing about hockey is that these guys are tough and they're not floppers like
They're not
guys.
soccer players.
They're not soccer players or basketball players. You know, soccer gets a bad rap, but
I know you're a big soccer guy. That's why I threw that in there.
But I mean, you're gonna start like with that rule. You're gonna literally like it favored Colin Blackwell to sell that. You know, like if you can get a guy in the top 6 of another team kicked out of the game. I mean, you saw what happened to the Blackhawks. They completely fell apart
pulled it
after
that. It was a completely different game after that. Again, not to use that as an excuse. There is no excuse for that. You got to respond the right way. But like, I mean, it's easy to forget. Before that, I think the Hawks actually were kind of the better team for much of that game. I thought they were in control. They were getting the puck. They were getting the looks. I mean, good possession. I thought they were going to do for more of a breakthrough there. And after that, just fizzled out.
I bet on them after the first period. I bet on them because I was like, I think
How much?
we're only $10.
Okay, fair
it
enough.
was nothing. I'm losing sleep over.
Okay.
But I was just like, yeah, I think they could win this game, you know, because they were still plus money. But I thought they looked better in the first period. But yeah, they face Bertuzzi gets the misconduct. They face the slightest bit of adversity. Oh no, now we're gonna have to double shift a little bit and play with different line mates. What will we ever do? It's like some of this shit that is gone on this season. Like I know we were all using Luke Richardson as a scapegoat, and like you guys can watch that game and use Kyle Davidson as a scapegoat, but it's like these guys have to be better, you know.
Maybe the team just sucks.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, it just it pisses me off. Just like that type of thing where it's like, come on, really? Like one guy gets kicked out of the game and you completely fall apart. Like it's just bad. But yeah, I think that rule is not good for the league at all because it's going to encourage players to embellish and take dives and act injured just to get players thrown out of the game.
Is it just me, or has there been a lot more penalties called this season, more power plays? It feels like that NHL is like there's like this NBA-ification happening at the league where they want more calls, they want more offense. And it's like that was the definition of a soft call last night. Like it's soft as fuck, as Betsy would say, you know. And that kind of pisses me off, right? But yeah, kind of building on like what you said, you know, this team does let things snowball a lot when things get out of hand. And Sorensen, the clip doesn't have much to do with that, but he talks about. I said this in the post-game show. This is different. Going to bring it back to Seth Jones here. I question pairing TJ Brody with Seth. That made absolutely zero sense to me. This guy's been absolute ass all season. You're going to pair him with Seth. Like it was pretty clear that this wasn't going to go well. It doesn't take a hockey mind to know that. So Sorensen kind of talks about here in the clips why his thought process on why he paired them together.
Yeah. I wanted to. Kevin in chat brought up.
Oh, I was wanting Raven, could you play the clip of Sorensen on
sorry.
Seth? Oh, yeah, you're good.
Yeah, you're good. I totally played it and then had to stop because Lisa kept talking. But here we go.
Oh, sorry, you're good.
No, you go.
Yeah.
Was behind putting Brody and Jones together?
I just wanted to. We've liked Allen and Murph together, and we liked Vlas and Krebs together. There it is.
I'm sorry, but that is a terrible answer from
Yeah, and he
Sorensen.
says something else after that. Like he was asked a follow-up question, like, what'd you think of it? It was like, yeah, it could be better. And they just left it at that. But yeah, that's not really answering the question. It's like, okay, you like these two pairs, so it's like, oh, we're forced to play them together. It's like, oh, that doesn't really cut it for me.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying when you're doing something like that for like Crevier and you're not really doing it for Kevin Korchinski. You know, it's like you bring Korchinski up and then you play him with TJ Brody the whole time, and then you're like, oh, you played third pairing minutes with TJ Brody your entire time up here. We're sending you back down because we didn't think it's like what? Like, how is he supposed to? TJ Brody's horrible. You know?
Yeah, and I think Korchinski is kind of left on an island at times, like in this Hawks defense. Like last season, he had a bit of a tough rookie year, but like half that season he was spent paired with freaking Jacob Megna. It's like, what do you expect him to do with that plug? And then, up here, pretty much the entire time he's been paired with Brody. It's like you're kind of, setting him up for failure there.
Yeah. I wanted to address Kevin Patterson in chat said that I think you guys are wrong about having the kids up here. They'll get beat down from losing all the time. Leave them down, winning, playing a lot. I completely disagree with that because I think as we just rambled about the San Jose Sharks, like the coverage and attention they're getting, they're still losing. Like, they've lost more than we have. They've just lost in overtime, so they have 2 more points than us. They've lost more than we have.
I think they're worse than us.
But the narrative, I think they have a worse team than us. But just the narrative is completely different because they're playing their young guys and they're having success together. And so if you do that, like, and not just give these guys a few game stints and then when they don't produce, send them back down, like, that's going to beat them down. I think if you asked any of them, they would so much rather be playing on the Blackhawks and maybe losing some games than winning in Rockford. And so, I think that if you actually play them consistently and just, like, throw away trying to play these old veterans and just be like, yes, for the rest of the season, we're playing these guys. And you let them know that they've got, a bit of a cushion in that, like, if you mess up, it's okay. I think that they're playing scared. Somebody else said that Nazar played, like, kind of scared and tentative last night. And I thought Nazar had a bad game yesterday, but I do think that part of it is because you just saw Korchinski right before the game get sent back down to the AHL.
Yeah, so you think he doesn't see that and think, well, shit, now if I make one mistake, he's not going to play that. He's not going to play confident now because he's going to worry about, making some, brutal error and then getting sent down. You're not going to play the way, just with confidence, right?
Yeah. So I don't think that benefits them at all. I'm so tired. You made me pay $20 a month for CHSN.
Uh-oh.
This team fucking sucks. Give me the young players. I don't give a shit. Let me watch the players that you've spent all this time drafting the past few years, the guys that you've gotten from intentionally being bad and tanking. Let me watch them play. I don't give a fuck. I really don't think that what's going to break Frank Nazar's career is either going to be playing in the NHL for the rest of the season or playing in the AHL. I don't think it's going to have a massive effect. I think that he can succeed in the NHL now because I thought he's looked good in the first few games. Obviously, things have changed since we've gone on this 4-game skid. But, yeah, I don't think you should go on a couple game skid and be like, oh, we got to get these kids out of here.
And look what the San Jose Sharks are doing, right? You got guys like Will Smith and William Eklund, and what are they doing? They're giving them playing time. They're playing them with your generational talent of Macklin, Celebrini. And we got our complimentary young players like Lucas Reichel, and we're playing him 10 minutes a night in a 4-flying role, which that's another thing. I know I'm so sick of that. I'm so done with that. This guy is not a center. He should be playing on the wing in the top 6 with Bedsy, at least in the top 6. And Nazar too. Like, we haven't really seen him with Bedsy yet. Like, give him a look there. Like, why not? I think he had a few shifts last game for fun, but like, let's see it for a full game, right? Like, let's let these young kids cook, and then if it's not working out, then you could send them down, right? If they're playing where it's clear that they're not, ready for this league, then you send them down. That's fine, right? And you can bring that confidence back. But I mean, if they don't give you a reason to, I don't think that should be the case. And that's the perks of being a veteran versus being a young player. You could be TJ Brody making $3 million and do whatever the hell you want every night and face no repercussions, no scratch, no nothing. But if you're a young player, you make one error and then boom, you're down. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. And I just, one more point about it is, like, I understand these guys are young. I understand that they're kids. I understand that they're like 19, 20, whatever. They're going to have to become men at some point. And so you can't be like, oh my gosh, we should probably have them in Rockford because losing right now might not be good for their mentals. It's like, fuck that. No.
And the Ice Hogs aren't exactly lighting the world on fire. They're barely 500. They're like 13, 12, and 4. So, I mean, okay. I mean, it's probably more fun to play down there in this team right now, to be fair. But, I mean, it's not like they're contending for the Calder at the moment.
Yeah, you took their coach his Sorensen is a development guy. He's been a development guy. He was a coach for the Chicago Mission forever. He was like a skills trainer for a bunch of the Swedes. He is a development coach, and you took him from Rockford and put him on the Chicago Blackhawks, and then you're going to send all these guys back down to that fucking dumpster fire for what?
If you're going to have a development coach, then play the young players. This season should be all about development. Yes. We're rebuilding. That's what you do.
It should be last year. What we saw last year should be what happens for the rest of the season.
Exactly.
It should be all young players, and it doesn't matter if you win or lose because at this point, you're not doing anything. So you might as well get a top 3 pick.
Nazar's 20 years old. And Korchinski's 20. These are 2022 draft picks. These aren't teenagers. They've had that development time. Right now, it's like, okay, Korchinski played the entire season in the NHL last year. Now you want it? I don't know. Whatever.
No. You're completely right. I think that now is the time to let these guys play and play them together. it's okay if they make mistakes. This team
Yes.
sucks. All the guys that like all the veteran players that are like making less mistakes than them or more defensively responsible, they suck. They've sucked. This team sucks. They're bad. They suck. So stop with this like, oh, we need to protect these kids, because I don't even subscribe to the thought that like it's better for them at this point where we're at right now, Sorensen being the head coach. I don't think Rockford's a better place for them to be.
I think, I changed my mind. I think we got to send Connor Bedard to Canada for the World Juniors. I don't know. I think he's 19. I don't think he can handle it, man. I think we gotta send him down to Rockford. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah,
I really like what
Betsy to
TJ
Rockford.
just said, where he said, I don't care where they play, but as long as they play together on one of these teams. I think that is the most important thing, is
building chemistry.
building the chemistry
Yeah.
of your core.
And playing with Levshinov. You're going to send Kwaszynski down playing with Levshinov. You want that to be the top pair. I've been watching all the Ice Dogs games, and they've been separated a
Yeah,
lot.
they separate them. It's like, what
Yeah.
are you doing?
Like,
who
what's the
cares,
point of that?
Who even cares about them winning in Rockford? Like, that doesn't matter.
I'd rather see, the Ice Dogs could be, I don't care what the record is, as long as the young players are going to be a part of this core producing. That's what I care about. You know? Yeah. And I think Levshinov, like, he's had an okay season, but I do think this could benefit him, right? So if there's a positive end to this, like looking from another player's perspective, you're going to send Kevin down. Okay, pair them together. Let's build that chemistry of those two, and then we'll see that, when they graduate together to the Hawks. But if they're not going to do that, then this doesn't really make a lot of sense. It just feels like another step back.
Yeah.
They did that a lot of Lucas Reichel, where obviously he's been full-time the last 2 years, but they call him up, he play well, and then send him right back down. And it's like, I feel like that sends the wrong message to a young player.
Yeah,
Like,
look at what good it's done for Reichel.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of. I hate to say it. I don't think he's going to work out here, and I don't think it's really his fault. I think he's been kind of I think he's been set up to fail.
Yeah.
And we don't want to make those same mistakes.
No, I completely agree. I think they've done wrong by him. I still think he can be successful. I definitely think he can be successful in the NHL.
Yeah,
I am holding out hope that he can do it on the Blackhawks, but like you just mentioned, the constant.
If we staple him to the
up and
fourth line, it's
down.
not going to happen.
Yeah, I think that too many people are so hyper worried about wins and losses, and I think Tassos falls in this group too. And I saw it all over Blackhawks Twitter and Instagram is like, dude, the season's over. Like, why are we still like losing our minds about this old bad team losing games? It's like, they're gonna lose games. That doesn't matter anymore. It's literally only about the young players. Like, yes, we can talk shit about Kyle Davidson all we want and like how he should be on the hot seat. Honestly, yes, that's true. But it's like after that last game, it's like what does this change about the season? Like, the only reason why yesterday was bad is because it's not good to see anybody on the future of this team with like kind of building those habits of just folding in the face of adversity. That's the only bad, like the loss doesn't matter.
My mantra is lose games for James, right? We got to get that complimentary forward for Bedard, because right now, the additions that Davidson brought in, they've not really it hasn't worked out. These free agent additions have not worked out for this season. The offseason was a failure from that standpoint. But in the grand scheme of things, my standpoint on the rebuild doesn't really change, right? I think a lot of these young guys, a lot of his prospects aren't here yet, so you can't really judge Davidson from that aspect yet. But we can judge him in this year's roster construction, and it hasn't worked out. It hasn't panned out. We haven't seen that progression that he, expected. So it's like, okay, we're halfway through the season. We've seen enough now. It's like, this is the way it is now for the rest of the season. I think you got to embrace the tank. I know fans are, you got to be patient. I know it's tough, but these rebuilds take time. You look at teams like the Red Wings and the Sabres. It's a process, right? So I think we just got to bear down here, stick with it. And I think getting a top 3 pick in this draft is not a bad thing. If anything, I think it's the best case scenario. But I think there's still a right way to go about it. There's still a right way to lose. You want to see, obviously not just Bedsy. You want to see the other young players cook. If that's not happening, then that's not good. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And one more point about the Brody and Seth Jones thing that's so frustrating is that if you're talking about these guys are at this point in their careers, they're both NHL veterans. If you're talking about how you can't pair them together because they're so bad, why is TJ Brody playing at all? If it's like, you're literally worried about these two veterans more than you're worried about Allen and Crevier. That's a problem. And so if you continue to do the same thing and keep letting TJ Brody regularly start games, you're going to keep running into these issues. I'm sorry. You are.
And I'm just sick of like the special treatment these veterans get compared to young talents, because that was something, Allen making those, he'd be sent down by this point, right? But TJ Brody gets a pass, and I'm so glad we're stuck with him for another season too. That's just wonderful. I'm not sure how he hasn't been scratched yet under Sorensen. I think after last night's performance, I think it's kind of warranted, but it's probably not going to happen. No.
A comment in chat just got deleted.
Uh-oh.
But somebody said, so does anyone have strong opinions on who to draft?
I think I want to leave this draft if any of James Higgins, Michael Misa, Porter Motone. I don't want to hear about Matthew Schaefer or any defenseman. No more defensemen. We need a forward. Any of those three, I'm happy. You got to be in the top 4 probably to make that happen.
So that was the comment that got deleted. It was
Why'd that
something.
get deleted?
No. I think they deleted it themselves.
Oh, okay.
Because it was something about taking a defensive player, a defenseman. It's definitely not. It can't be a defenseman. Not even because like I'm saying that like Kevin Korchinski and Levshunov are surefire 1 and 2 top defensemen, but just if you think about who we have right now in the pipeline, and you've got Jones and Vlasic until through the year 2030. Then you just drafted Levshunov. You have Korchinski. You have Rinzel. You have Del Mastro. You have Allen. You've got
logjam.
You can only play 6 defensemen. I don't know if you guys know that, but it's 6 defensemen unless you want to suit 7 up and just have an extra defenseman just sitting on the bench all game long. We've got too many defensemen. So you can't draft another defenseman because it also I feel like it won't be good for the young defensemen that we have their development, because if it's like, oh well, this organization clearly doesn't trust me if they're still picking high defensemen.
I just don't get it, man. Like the amount of Hawks fans who actually want I know Matthew Schaefer's good, but like, bro, we just passed on Ivan Demidov last draft over Levshunov, and you want to make the same? You want to do that again? Like, everybody's always complaining all the time. Oh my God, Connor Bedard, he has no help. Get this guy some help, and you want to deny him the help. Yeah. It baffles my mind here. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, okay, you want to pass on Ivan? Okay, fair enough. Now you got to get that top 3 pick. James Higgins, Misa, Martone in this year's draft. Like, that's the way it is. That's what you box yourself into, Kyle. That's what you got to do. Yeah. I
think if we pick 1 overall, I think we're gonna take Higgins. Yeah. But if it's anything after that,
you want Martone.
I think Michael Misa is awesome. I think he has a really high ceiling. Yeah. I think he can be awesome. Yeah. I think that there's no way they don't pick Porter Martone. I mean, that is like,
he's a fit.
It's the same reason why they drafted Levshunov this past year, 2nd overall. It's like you had a right shot defenseman who's supposed to be they're gonna take Martone for what type of player he is.
And I will say this, like, I do prefer drafting players over what they are, over what you hope they could be, but I would say KD probably doesn't think about that mindset. That's why last year I would have taken, Demidov or Levshunov, but we've been down this road. I know I ramble a lot about that, but we'll see.
Yeah. I'm a big ceiling guy. But I know people are going to hear that and be like, oh, well, then what if Matthew Schaefer has the highest ceiling, then you should take him. That's different. All right, you got too many defensemen already. You can't. You can't take that. But
well, we could do what you propose. Trading up right to get another top pick. So we can always do both again. KD did try that this past draft, so something there maybe.
Yeah, but if you do that, take Misa and Martone, or take Higgins. And Martone.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Get 2 guys that can be playing within a year.
You could draft the defenseman again, but just don't do it with the first pick. Yeah, that's probably our main takeaway there. Yeah.
How much would I pay John Cooper to coach the Hawks? I would give him
whatever he wants.
I would give him any of my family members.
Keys to the city.
I would give him every single penny in my bank account.
I think he's maybe a slight improvement. How is he really that much better than Richardson? I don't know. It seems like more of the same to me at this point. We've gotten more offensive production. Bed's even playing better, but I picture that more to him. So this team's still losing, and if anything, we're getting blown out now. So we're not even they're not the games.
But the style's better. The style's better. No. This is better. Yeah. This is better than what we had with Richardson. But the team still sucks. That's all.
It's the same team. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
We need an actual coach with experience. Not this is sorts as the 4th first-time coach we've had, since Coach Q. So we need a coach of actual, Stanley Cup pedigree, winning experience, yada yada.
Yeah. You want to do any before we do NHL hour? You want to do any prospect talk. You wanna anybody tickling your fancy?
Well, the World Juniors are going on right now. Oliver Moore for USA, Yuri Felkman for Czechia. I'll talk about a little bit of the post game, but yeah, Moore has been 2 assists in 3 games, but I think that doesn't tell the whole story. I like his game. I think he's been playing well. I think he's going to get awarded here soon for his play. Classic Blackhawk, all Swedish, no finish these days. I feel like he's always hitting pipes and close to scoring, but can't quite finish the deal. But he's been playing well at the U.S. And also, USA, Canada, New Year's Eve. I don't know, man. I think I might be more excited for that game than the Winter Classic tomorrow at this rate. But I'm excited for the Winter Classic, but I am nervous. Yeah.
The thing about Moore on this Team USA team is that like if you're not on that first line, you're not gonna like they are putting that line out there for they're so good and they play line together and they're going out there for every single good opportunity they can. Like they're gonna, the
offense runs through that line. Moore's been out there for like PK and like situations like that, right? You're not really expecting his line to produce necessarily. That's not really their job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just even if you're not even that they're not expecting them to produce, it's just like that first line is going to go out there in every good situation possible.
I would say Leonard had a funny. I know we're still with Blackhawks out, but Leonard had a funny quote yesterday where it's like it's USA versus the world. Like everybody's cheering against them. And that was literally the case. Like the Canadians in Ottawa. Like I thought there were a lot of Finnish citizens there the other night. They were cheering for every goal. I guess when you lose to Latvia, that's what happens. You got to cheer for. You always got to cheer against the big dog there. But I can't wait for the game tomorrow, man. That's going to be cinema.
Yeah, and I do feel like the narrative coming into this tournament was that like Canada clearly had the best roster, and I know there were a lot of questions about their leaving certain guys out
Nick
of the Canadian,
Michael Misa,
but like everyone was saying that Canada had the best team, so it would be awesome to just beat them again, just prove yet again that hockey is an American sport.
Rah! Yeah, no, I'm totally with you there. I think it's gonna be a good game. But yeah, I was talking a lot of smack, so I probably should have kept my mouth shut after yesterday. But losing to Finland, who's a top hockey nation, is not the same thing as losing to Latvia. But respect to Latvia, though, that was pretty impressive.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Also, what's glazed? I love you. We love to glaze this man. We got to keep glazing him. Roman Kantsarov, 18 points in 19 games. He's hymned over there in Russia. He might be better than Ivan Demidov. I don't know. We might already have that guy for Betsy, to be fair. But we will have to wait for him a little bit because his contract still goes the next season. So 26-27, hopefully he'll be on the Hawks. Maybe he can get out of that contract. That would be nice. He looks like it could be him.
Yeah. What's the deal? Could he opt out if he wanted to? Is there like something in the contract, or does he have to play in the KHL next year?
I feel like every situation is different there because Beachclaw was able to get out of his, so you think he would too. But not all contracts are the same. There, everything I've heard from his side and ours is they're kind of locked into that 3-year deal.
Damn, that sucks. Because he would play next year.
Yeah, but the Wild had to wait for Kaprizov and much longer than we're going to have to wait for him. So he's going to be, the nice thing is he's going to be well overripe, right? He's going to be ready for the Hawks. He doesn't need to, go down to Rockford or anything. He's going to be 21 years old. And he's a point per game. The KHL is a 20-year-old, which I can't emphasize enough how hard that is.
It's insane. No,
it's ridiculous.
It's superstar level. People aren't, I don't think people realize, we're not just getting hyped over a guy ripping up the OHL.
It's different.
If you are a 19, 20, 21-year-old point per game in the KHL, you're gonna be really good in the NHL.
Yeah.
It's so close. It's not NHL caliber, obviously, but to be able to do that against grown men, the second best league in the world, we've got one. He's gonna be a stud. And I don't know. I have seen some stuff of hopefully who knows if the Blackhawks are going to be able to bring him over, but no, I think he wants to.
I know from him that he wants to come over. I have allegedly DM'd him on Instagram, and he's excited to be a Hawk. He follows me too. He's Roman Kantsarov. You're my boy. Hope he's listening. We might have to get him a show as a guest at some point. I don't know if he knows English, but we can get a translator or something. We'll figure it out.
Absolutely, because he's gonna be I think he's gonna be an NHL superstar. He's a beast. Yeah. I DM'd him after the game on Saturday, and I said that he's a fucking beast and that we need him in Chicago as soon as possible. And he sent back the shaking hands emoji. So I
don't think he wants to come over.
I think our boy's coming.
I think he's coming.
I think our boy's coming to the Windy City. And we need it now more than ever.
Something big is coming.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the Ice Hogs here. I know I was kind of saying they weren't winning much, but to be fair, they have won their last 2 games. So they're starting to get on the right track here. I think it was a bit tough, losing Sorensen. Bit of an adjustment to the new system, but they've been looking a lot better lately. So that's good to see, right? You want to see them winning, and hopefully, Krasinski can go there and help them keep that trek up. Drew Kamasa's been playing so much better since he got sent down. He had a shutout the other night too. I think just he's got so much more confidence. I think I already talked about that, but I'm spinning in circles today. And I will apologize too. Tassos is not on the show because he isn't feeling well. I don't know if me and Lee, I think we're still both dealing with stuff too.
Yeah.
So if we sound a little off or if we're not totally on our game, that's why. But Trent, this is a different thing. But speaking of health, Jonathan Tay's update breaking.
Oh yeah,
he had a recent interview with GQ and magazine, and I kept saying on the show that I thought he was done, but he might not be. And he didn't rule out an NHL comeback in his interview. Basically said, like some of the healing journey he's been doing, right, the spiritual healing journey he's been doing in India. Maybe a lot of that's just to get not just a mental reset, but like a physical reset. He could be an NHL comeback isn't totally off the cards.
Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna be able to do it, but based on the interview, it seemed like that's his plan.
Yeah,
is that he wants to come back, which would be amazing.
That would be great. Even if it's not. I mean, it's not going to be with us. Just to break that,
it's not going to be with us.
And he's not going to be. Look, we saw it in his last 2 seasons when he came back after missing a year. Like he's not going to be, obviously. But I think he could still be a good, 3C, a third line center on a contending team. Hopefully, we could see him go on one last playoff run, go off one more cup. That'd be cool to see that. Yeah. But another part of me is cool if he decides not to and just be a Blackhawk for life. And I think he's accomplished everything. I don't think he has anything else to prove. So I think either way, whatever he wants, whatever he's happy with. Will he actually come back? Who knows? But he was recently spotted too in an NHL game. I think it was the Canadian Sabres game in Montreal. So he's been around. I think he's back now from that long retreat there. So I think he's had some Chicago sightings too. So I think he recently sold his Lincoln Park home too, by the way.
Oh, really?
So that's kind of sad. So there goes the Hawks comeback. But good to see Tays back in the limelight. Looks like he's in a much better space mentally, physically, and that's good to see.
Yeah, I selfishly want him to come back. I want to see him go to like a Florida or a Colorado or something. Who wouldn't want that guy as like your third or fourth center going into the playoffs?
He could still
a proven winner, a proven leader. Win faceoffs, kill penalties,
put up 30, 40 points. Yeah.
Like you're telling me that teams aren't going to take the risk on,
and just like the experience, the veteran pedigree, and he steps up come playoff time. He always did. He was always better in the playoffs than he was in the regular season. Captain clutch for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Should we hit a break here? And
do you want to do more? I know we have the bonus show tomorrow, but do you want to do a little bit of Winter Classic preview? We could wait for the NHLR if you want for that. Well, I think we have plenty to talk about there, though.
Yeah. I guess we can. St. Louis Blues, not a very impressive team. They're like 38 points. They're 4 points out of a wild card spot, but I think both the teams in the wild card spots have like 3 games in hand on them. So it's like you're not really 4 points away. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're not very good. If you look at their like wins and losses, it's not even like trends where they like get hot. It's just like they lose a few, then they win a couple,
they're
then
mid.
They lose. They're mid. They're as mid as it gets. Which is better than us.
They just lost to the Sabres too. We did though. We got blown out when we lost to them, but it does give me a little bit of hope for tomorrow. Neither team's going into this game with a ton of momentum. The Blues are not that impressive, but they're better than us. And Montgomery is he's a good coach there. They've been a bit better under him, but not too much. But yeah, I think either way, I think first for the Hawks, in a way I almost see it like the 4 losses in a row. I mentioned this in the post game. Maybe it's me being delusional, but like the Hawks are due. I don't think they've lost more than 4 games in a row all season, so I kind of look at that as, they're kind of due for a breakthrough here, maybe end the season on a high note. That would be nice, but when you get blown out, 2 games leading up to it doesn't really give you a lot of hope, but for the Hawks, though, if you could win this, like it totally changes your season. And we can look back on this as like it doesn't matter what happens the rest of the year. At least we won the Winter Classic, right? At least we had that. You can't take that away. So it sure would be nice if the Hawks could do that. At least Bedsy have a game. It looks like, probably Peter's going to start, but we'll hear more about that. Yeah.
Bertuzzi's not going to get suspended for a game, is
No,
he?
there's no way.
That would be
There's no way.
disgusting.
That would be... Oh, yeah, if we lose him, then we're fucked.
That would be grimy.
That would be... No, I don't think so.
Do you think we can win?
I'm not just being delusional. I honestly think we could. The Blues are like we said. Look, yes, this team sucks, but like the Blues, they're not that. They're not really that much better than us. And I think this team is due. I mean, plus I'd be delusional in the fact that I know the Hawks are 0-4 all time in Winter Classics, but the one outdoor game they ever won was the 2014 Standing Series, and I was present. So I am going to be there tomorrow.
Me too. So the one against the Penguins?
Yes, the 2014 against the Penguins.
Yeah.
I think that was a 5-1 win. Jonathan Toews had an amazing game. He had this beautiful goal.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. That was like the nice little kickback move, and Fleury.
And he told Sidney Crosby to stay on his feet.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, Toews always owned Sid. He was great with matchups like that. He always shut him down.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at Sid's totals, I think the Blackhawks are probably the team that's been in the league the whole time he's been in the league that he's scored on amongst the least. Like, you look at that. I think that's because he was always matched up against Toews and he'd shut down your top players. But anyway, back to the game tomorrow. The fact that I'm going to be there, I'm deluding myself, gaslighting myself, and I think this team's going to win, but probably not. Yeah.
Something that I am not concerned about, but something worth pointing out is, we're playing St. Louis. Like, half that city is basically in Illinois. Probably going to be a lot of Blues fans. A lot of Blues fans there. What do you think the ratio is going to be?
75-25.
Oh, I was thinking 60-40.
I was worried that it might be 60-40.
Really?
Dude, I think a lot of people from Detroit, from Milwaukee area, Cleveland, there's so many big cities around here that aren't really hard to get to. And yeah, if someone travels for a day and wants to go see the game, I think someone would do it.
Oh, absolutely. A game like this at Wrigley, people are obviously going to be doing it. I'm just a little worried. Just the fact that tickets went down so much. Like, Tassos brought it up and saying that he's going to try to get a ticket today. Like, dude,
it's not going to be a sellout?
Dude, I don't think so. Like, if the tickets drop, because the games the past couple of Hawks game that Tassos and I have tried to go to, we tried to wait to for the tickets to drop, and they haven't. But for this one, they have. For the entire months leading up to the game, every time I check, it was in the mid 300s level. That was the worst tickets you could get were $330. They were expensive. And now the cheapest you can get is you can get tickets for $140.
So I got mine for $200, man. I should have waited.
Yeah. So that does concern me a little bit. Is if this thing's not a sell, you want it to be a sellout. You want that thing
better
to
be
packed.
Wrigley Field, Winter Classic, the Marquee event. If that's not a sell, then that's a failure. So. Yeah, I just think for the Hawks, you want to put out a good performance because this team's we've been embarrassed enough on national television. Everybody knows how poverty this team is at the moment. It could be nice to, for one day to, kind of reverse that trend, right?
Yeah.
And there's another thing. The Hawks always lost outdoor games when they're good. So I'm thinking when they're bad, they're actually going to win it. My logic here is really just top notch. Your top notch analysis here from yours truly, really.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited to see that. It sucks that I'm fucking working and I
I feel so bad for you. That sucks.
Can't even watch the game. Can't really watch the World Juniors game. It sucks. We're gonna head down to the stadium after this podcast though and try to do some interviews. So I'll soak up the vibes and I think we're gonna be there tomorrow morning as well.
We will be there
which is it's gonna be a long ass day for me. That's gonna be a fucking 16
Oh yeah, that's
hour
another
day.
thing too. Yeah, for those of us at CHR, we'll be there tomorrow. We'd be willing to obviously do meetups and stuff, things like that. If you see us at the game, for sure, we'd love to chat and all that. But
Yeah, absolutely. Jealous of you for going. Want to hit a break here?
Yeah, sure.
I think that was sweet. We'll be back in a sec. All right, welcome back. Chicago Hockey Radio, NHL Hour. A lot of stuff going on in the league right now. Shall we start in our old rivals, Detroit?
Yeah, I mean, Derek Lalonde was finally fired day after Christmas. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. But yeah, I thought that was long overdue. I was surprised it took him that long to do it. But yeah, Tom McClellan hired, and the first game didn't go too well, but second game, it looked a lot better. And in that game, our boy, Showtime, recorded point number 1,300. Love to see it. And yeah, just the wings look better, but again, early days. But yeah, I think that move was warranted. I think Lalonde, the system just wasn't working there. I know the team isn't great, but I mean, McClellan, it's a coach of experience. You got to think, probably helps him out a little bit. It's still not a playoff team or anything, but it's better than a lottery team, I would think. But we'll see how much better.
Yeah, that's kind of my whole thing. It's like coaching change, nice, but I think from the pulse that I've gotten from Red Wings fans is like they don't think they're gonna win with these guys. They're kind of like just how we are, like very hopeful for like the prospect pool in the future. I think that's kind of their sentiment a little bit because we've talked about it. This team's not good.
It's not.
This team right now, like this year, like no matter how good this coach is, they're not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, no. And yeah, I think the Weiser plan is taking a little long to come to fruition, but they still got a lot of young prospects in the wings to wait for. Axel Sandin Pellikka, the World Juniors from Sweden, that's a hell of a D-man right there. Edvinsson, that's going to be a great inside. That's going to be a great core there. So there for them. So they have a lot to look forward to. There, Kosa as well. He's a good goaltender. Trey Augustin. They're set with goaltending. Although Augustin's been kind of World Juniors performance could be better so far, but hopefully he locks in. But for USA, but they got things to look forward to. Right, not all their prospects are there yet, but. I would say they're probably starting to get a little impatient over their Red Wings land, and because it's been since 2016, they've seen the playoffs. Their rebuild's going on longer than ours, and we've only been rebuilding really for 3 years during our drought. They've been rebuilding for pretty much that whole time. So it's a long process, but I think Weiserman hired in 2019 is the wiser plan. It's they're probably getting a little impatient, but I think it's still they're still believing his vision a little bit there.
Yeah, I think they do. My only reservation about it is that. I don't know. You got this group now, this top six that's pretty good, but they're aging. I mean, obviously Kane's not going to be there much longer. Larkin's how old? Larkin's
I want to say
okay. He's only 28.
Yeah.
It's just, do you have I understand they have a really good prospect pool, but is it deep enough and is it good enough to win you if you throw them into this roster? Is it good enough to win you a Stanley Cup?
That's the thing. I still think they're a ways away. I don't even know if next year. I think it's still a process for them to get back in the playoffs.
Yeah, because it's going to take a couple years.
It's going to take time for these guys to come in. Right, exactly. They're probably going to have to make some bigger additions because guys like Kane and Tarasenko. Everybody wants to talk about Kane having an off year. Tarasenko's done absolutely nothing for them.
Yeah.
And Kane's starting to come on here. I think he will now. I think he really is just that 1,300 point mark was really holding him back. Now that he's got that, the monkey's off the back, and he's going to chase down Modano. I think he's 74 away from the U.S. points record. So hopefully next season we could see him hit that. That'd be nice. I do think he will break that record. I think you don't get the hip resurfacing surgery to play 2-3 more seasons. I think he's still got good hockey left in him. Obviously, he's well past his prime at this point, but he could still put up, I don't know, he could still play second line minutes and put up 50 points on a contender. I think that's doable for him. In Showtime, come playoff time, he's a different player. But if he wants to see the playoffs again, though, he's got to get off this squad because he's not going to do it here.
Yeah, no, yeah. I completely agree. I don't think it's going to happen for him in Detroit. Yeah. So I would love to see him move to where I'm not sure, but I think if you asked him, I think he would tell you that he wants to play into his. No. I was gonna say I think Buffalo. If you ask him, he'd say that he wants to play into his 40s. So hopefully, a few seasons left of Showtime. That the performance yesterday was vintage. Goal and an assist, sick goal. Nice assist.
Yeah, of course, there's the DeBrincat, too, who pot home point number 1,300 for him. He's got to be up there, DeBrincat, in terms of players he's assisted to the most. He might be number one. Don't quote me on that, but he's up there for sure. So good to see that for sure. And it wasn't just Kane. A lot of milestones. Ovechkin scored that game. Goal number 870. He's back from injury. He's had goals both games. He's only 25 away now from the record, which is pretty insane to think. He could still get that. Even with the injury, he could still get that this season. That's not totally out of question. Probably next season. They'll have the whole lead up to market it right for that NHL over the summer, and then he could get that early next season. I think he could still do it this year. I'll probably take that personally. Gretzky was joking like he's going to go to every game once he's like 3 or 4 away. So it'd be kind of funny if like either he scored a ton in one game to where he wasn't there, or just waited, went on a long drought. So Gretzky's just got to keep going to Capitals games for no reason. I was just thinking about that during the broadcast, and they mentioned that. And that not in transition to Ovechkin's rival, Sidney Crosby, broke this Pittsburgh Penguins assist record as well. I want to say 1,034. I want to say 1,034. So, yeah, good for Crosby there. I mean,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, what good players have ever played at Pittsburgh, though?
I want to say he broke. I want to say I assume that's Lemieux's assist record he broke there. Yager, Malkin, they've had their share of star players over there for sure. And meanwhile, you look at Washington, it's like Ovechkin. Yeah, they've had others, but he is that franchise. Whereas Crosby, it's like they got a Mount Rushmore. Pens might have the strongest Mount Rushmore there is in terms of like top 4 players for a franchise. Because you got Sid the Kid, Yager, Lemieux. And Malkin. That's pretty sick. Hard to beat that.
Something that would be freaking crazy would be the Penguins are just 1 point out of a wild card spot. Just 1 point out of a wild card spot. Ottawa has a couple games in hand on
Caps,
them.
Pens,
But
playoff.
you could see Caps versus Pens in the first round of the playoffs, which would be
that'd be cinema. That would be great. Yeah, because at least 2 are still firing all cylinders here, which is pretty impressive. Their old age, they seem to be aging like wine over there. Hopefully, Kane could kind of follow their footsteps because I don't know if he's really aging like wine at the moment. Hate to say that, but yeah.
But he could bounce back. Ovechkin was bad last year. He was bad. He did nothing, and he did nothing in the playoffs last year.
I think the team hasn't helped them either. I think the line system, clearly Kane was getting fed up with it, and hopefully now he'll play a lot better in his new system there. I think I had a different squad too that plays more to his strengths. He could still produce.
Yeah. So all the OGs in the league still holding it down, proving that.
And we'll see Jonathan Toews back soon too. Nah, I'm just kidding. Hopefully that'd be nice.
Yeah. Who says no?
Yeah.
I think
I got one more in me.
Yeah. I would love to see that. Would be crazy if Ovi's able to catch the record this year. That would be fucking insane.
That'd be awesome.
But yeah, either way, it's going to be imagine he does it in the fucking playoffs.
Let's think about.
That doesn't count, right?
Yeah, that doesn't count.
That's
Separate.
so
That's
stupid.
separate. But yeah, let's think about that, right? Because they got a little more than half the season left here, like 43, 44 games, something like that. The Capitals left. 25 goals. That'd be 50 goal pace, 25 goals in 41 games. So, I mean, it's not totally out of question they could do it. But yeah, probably more likely next season. But hopefully Ovechkin would take that personally. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Any games yesterday move you?
I think that Blackhawks game, that was really a cinematic game. I think we really just enjoyed watching that a lot. I think we talked about a little bit. The Red Wings game, I did watch quite a bit of that before the Hawks game. I thought that was good. As long as Showtime is producing, I love to see that because I wasn't loving that drought he was on. About other games, I was watching World Juniors, so wasn't really watching as much NHL besides the Hawks and Wings.
You watched a lot of World Juniors yesterday?
I've been watching the hell out of the World Juniors. I love that tournament.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't watch any World Juniors yesterday just because I was watching football.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah.
So then you're gonna have to kind of walk me through some of the games yesterday and tell me how you felt about the World Juniors games.
Yeah, well, Finland beat the U.S. 4-3 unfortunately overtime. That was a great game though. Hard fought game, fun game. And then Canada, they didn't get upset to Germany. It was really funny if they got upset twice in a row, but they didn't. They locked in, got that 3-0 win, although we dropped 10 of them, so we're clearly not the same there. I need to stop shit talking them, or it's not going to look good on New Year's Eve. So hopefully the U.S. can lock in for that game. I gotta say that again. I'm really looking forward to that game tomorrow. I'm honestly more excited for USA Canada than the Winter Classic at this point. But hopefully the Hawks prove me wrong there and take that personally.
Yeah, it feels like Canada's struggled to score a little bit.
Yeah, they have. Their offense, I'd say the U.S. has more top end. Canada probably has better depth. Although there's some weird, again, we've talked about, there's just some weird snubs in that roster construction. Porter Martone was scratched yesterday too. Like he was the problem. Okay, sure. It's a couple defensemen they left out too. It's like, it doesn't really make sense because their power play has been kind of off. And if they have, those guys there, it would have been better.
Slovakia is beating Kazakhstan right now 2-0. Why was Martone? Why was he?
They weren't even playing him that much. I don't know what Cameron's doing over there. He's playing like 4 flying minutes, and they weren't really utilizing him. So it's like I don't really know what you want him to do with that limited ice time. Players don't really compliment him, right? But he should be playing more. Yeah. Yeah,
it's weird. I feel like they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot. I don't know. I feel like the USA should definitely go into the game tomorrow feeling like they can and should win.
Yeah, honestly, I think I think they might. I think Canada might be the underdog in this game. I know they got the home ice advantage, but I do think the
wonder
U.S.
if I
I do
can
think the
figure
U.S.
that
team,
out.
if any team can take them, I think it's them. I mean, Latvia beat them for crying out loud, but it's still Team Canada. You know, they always got a lock in against the U.S. too, so it should be a great game. It's still just the prelims here. The medal rounds don't start until the new year, so. I mean, it's really just setting up seeding at this rate, but should be a fun game. Anytime USA Canada plays, that's must see TV. But speaking of upsets, we talked about the Canada Latvia one. How about college hockey? UNLV club team upsetting Denver. Defending champs. That's pretty shocking there.
Crazy.
Yeah,
I don't understand. Like, so some of these, because you're gonna have to explain this to me like I'm an idiot. So some of these club teams just straight up like recruit guys like it's a Division I program. It's just like they kind of just get all the top players that want to go to college but don't get picked by like big schools. Is that kind of like how that just happened?
That sounds right. I wish Tassos was here because he would be able to explain this way better than I would, but that sounds right. Raven could always fact check me over there. But yeah, I think they have plans to UNLV to like become a D. I don't know about D1, but like to move up there and not be club because they clearly show they're good enough for that, right? So all those HCHG teams you can't really sleep on, right?
He was talking about this on his show earlier a little bit, but
Yeah.
I do believe Las Vegas is trying to move towards becoming a D1 school in the future.
Well, yeah, I think that performance showed it, right? They could definitely do it. But yeah, I mean, that was probably, I'm not sure what was a bigger upset, that or Latvia, Canada. Yeah, I think Feldberg's there probably increased his stock there. I wonder if a team's going to look at him after that 54 save performance. And that shootout, 8 for 8 too. That was something. That was quite a sequence there, that game. I was joking about it. We reacted to it live. It was after the Friday game, Hawks Sabres. It's like, it'd be funny if Latvia upset Canada, and it actually happened. But that was something. Yeah.
U.S. Canada is basically a pick 'em tomorrow. Canada's minus 118 and USA's minus 104. So you're not getting plus money betting on either of them.
Yeah.
So it's about as even as it gets. I guess maybe a slight edge towards Canada, but it's really nothing. What's your score prediction for that one?
Ooh, this is a tough one. Well, I gotta go with the USA, baby. I'll say 4-3 win. That's gonna go extra innings. It's gonna go extra innings. So 4-3 win in overtime. I'll say they make. So it's literally the reverse of the Finland game. Yeah, they'll understand it now. Yeah.
Damn, that would feed families.
It would feed families. That'd be great. I hope they do. They beat the Canadians in their barn. That'd be satisfying. Yeah.
You think Canada's gonna be able to score 3 goals on the U.S.?
Well, the U.S. goaltending's been a little shaky so far, so yes, I do think they will.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Finland, yeah, I mean, I think they could do it. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like you struggled to do it against Latvia. You struggled to do it against Germany. The
U.S. score goals, but they're not that lot. Like they turn over the puck a lot. They play sloppy. They're going to give you those looks, and Canada's going to expose them there. But hopefully, I think the U.S. offense can overpower them. Though that first line, if they can cook, like that line alone can dominate and win your games. Yeah,
I could see it being like a 2-1 game.
Could be a type of game like that.
I think it'll be relatively lower scoring. The over under's only 6.5. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, it should be fun though. It's funny watching Cole Hudson. Like he's literally the same player as his brother Lane in Montreal. Like seriously, I think they're clones of each other. He loves those head fakes at the blue line. But he had a bit of a turnover there in overtime against Finland and got exposed. Hopefully he makes up for that. But otherwise, I think he's had a good tournament. He had a goal the other night, and he's fun to watch like his brother. A lot of fun players to watch in that U.S. squad.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people shitting on him for just like turning the puck over all the time.
Yeah, it was kind of brutal in overtime,
bad?
but he'll make up for it. Hopefully, yeah, he'll learn from that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm bummed that I can't fucking watch this.
Yeah, I assume I'll be watching it, right? It is after the winter. I think it's the late game tomorrow, so it's after the Winter Classic, so I should be able to watch it. Unless I'm not, I could be doing something else on New Year's Eve, hopefully celebrating a Hawks Winter Classic win. I'm trying to speak that into existence.
What time is it at? Do you know?
What time is it? It's the late game.
Oh, it's 6:30. Okay, 6:30 Central Time.
6:30 Central. Ooh, that's gonna be tricky because well, let me catch the tail end of it because the Winter Classic's at 4, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's probably not going to end till
Yeah.
after that, honestly.
Yeah, no, okay.
Because you got to think there's going to be like intermission festivities and stuff
Yeah, it's
too.
gonna be a long game.
So game doesn't start till actually like
We got the
4:10.
post game too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, maybe if you guys go to Sluggers or something after, hopefully they have the game on there.
Not sure what the plan is. Well, by the way, getting back to the Winter Classic here, I see the NHL did this thing like where they invited creators and stuff to like skate on the Winter Classic ice. I'm just wondering where Blackhawk Meme's invitation was there. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe it got lost in the mail there. But anyway, I see how it is.
Yeah. Why wouldn't they tap into the niche meme? Yeah,
15,000 followers here, man. I don't know.
I mean, no. If they actually did, and they brought you in like Bedard bus,
and we got to skate with Connor. That'd be fun. What a missed marketing opportunity.
No, it really would be, because that would be like so insane. That would be
that'd be fun.
That'd be so tapped in.
Yeah, that'd be sick. That'd be elite. There's gonna be a lot of Hawks. A lot of other people that do what I do. A lot of Hawks people at this game. A lot of Hawks memers and stuff. So should be a lot of fun. We'll do meetups. We're class. It's gonna be so much fun tomorrow. Like, I can't wait. I can't emphasize enough. I was making jokes. I'm not that. I'm fucking excited. I'm lubed up for the game tomorrow. It should be fun. No matter what, it's gonna be fun. I think it's. Do the Hawks really deserve to have this event this year? No, if I'm being honest, this team does not deserve to play in the Winter Classic. But hopefully they prove us wrong. They prove the world wrong and come away with a dub here, or just make it a fun game, make it an exciting game at least. Let Bedsy do something, and I'll be happy. Yeah. We'll break it down more. We have a bonus show tomorrow. We'll break that down more tomorrow. For sure. I just hope the event is like super successful and that it's a good game, because I do personally, I know a lot of NHL fans don't love it, but I do love the fact that we get to play in an outdoor game like every other year. Yeah, it's the 5th time the Winter Classic, and we've had like a couple stadium series in there too. I want to say it's like game number 7 outdoors. Don't quote me on that. I think they're 1 and 5 all time. So let's make that 2 and 5. Also, I gotta say this pisses me off though. I got a Christmas gift. Frank Nazar Winter Classic jersey, but it hasn't arrived yet, Fanatics. And it looks like it's not going to arrive for the Winter Classic. We got that. Apparently, they got the second he was called up, and that was like 2 weeks ago now. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. So I won't be able to wear my Winter Classic jersey at the game. So that's great. Thank you, Fanatics, for that.
That's whack. What are you? This jersey is sick, by the way.
Oh yeah, we got the Shoresy jersey here. That's a good show. You still got to see it, but you've seen clips. I think you'll enjoy the show if you watch it. But I got a few jerseys for Christmas. I think that's what I'm going to do for now. Like on the show, I'm just going to wear some random jersey every day. I got a pretty good collection there.
What are you going to wear tomorrow?
Probably. I was gonna wear the Winter Classic, but I'll probably just wear the regular Bedsy. We'll figure it out. We'll see. Yeah.
Damn.
I do have a Jalmerson 2017 Winter Classic jersey from when they played. Actually, no, sorry, 2015 when they played the Caps. This is a rematch, by the way, from 2017. The U.S. and Blues did play in 2017. The Blues won that game. I think it was. I can't remember what the score was, but they won it. And hopefully the Blackhawks. Jesus, the U.S. hopefully the Blackhawks can take retribution for that.
That's
Jesus.
how I feel. I
am really cooking today. My brain is really locked in today. Boy,
that's how I honestly feel. The same amount of pride I feel for the United States, I feel for the Chicago Blackhawks.
No, seriously.
So honestly, that's you're real as fuck for that. Should we do some predictions, or how do you feel about games coming up tonight, tomorrow? Other than
there's 3 games
Chicago
tonight,
Blackhawks.
right? Let's pull them up here.
Yeah, Rangers Panthers I think is definitely worth watching. Just because
aren't the Rangers last in the Metro now?
I think so. Let me see.
That's crazy. That is insane.
They are. They're 2 points behind the Islanders.
Well, New York is really cooking over there. But yeah, that's a rematch from the conference finals last year, and it should still be a fun game though. But you gotta think the Panthers take that one. Is that MSG or Florida? Or
let me see. Yeah. It is. It's in Florida.
Okay. Cats probably take that one. We got Preds Jets as well tonight.
Jeez.
We got the Club versus Kraken. Being the 2 newest teams over there, technically.
How are the odds so close in the Predators Jets game?
I don't get that one. The Preds have finally started looking like a hockey team lately, but I still really understand that the Jets have been they've been locked into. Yeah,
and then Utah Kraken couldn't give less of a shit about that game.
That doesn't move you.
No, it does not move me at all.
Yeah, today's kind of meh.
Why? Hold up. Why? Okay, I guess they kind of did it. Massive slate tomorrow.
That's not normal, right? Normally, there's not a lot of other games on Winter Classic Day, but
why
tomorrow
would they do
that's
that?
not the case. There's games before, there's games after. That seems different. Also, the last episode of the Road to Winter Classic is dropping tomorrow, but it's like right before puck drops, so like people who are at the game aren't gonna be able to watch that before the game. So that seems genius. I guess that's a TV thing, right? But still, I don't really get that either.
I just don't really understand having games before it. Like, why are you having games start at 2 o'clock
tomorrow?
2 hours before puck, like that game, the Canadians Golden Knights game is gonna be going on when the Winter Classic starts. It seems like a kind of stupid thing to do from the NHL's perspective.
13
Like
games tomorrow.
yeah, it's a massive slate. I just think you shouldn't have anything going on during the Winter Classic. You should have everybody.
You need every eyeball on that game.
Yeah.
Right? That's the way it should be. Well, normally, I think it's screwed up this year because normally the Winter Classic is on New Year's Day, but this year it's on New Year's Eve. So I think that just screwed everything up here. Normally it's like a noon game, but this year it's like a transition from late afternoon to late night. The lights should go on, right? Probably, one of those intermissions there. So that'd be pretty cool to see that as well. Also, here's just a little fun exercise. Actually, I would save that for tomorrow. I have a fun game for us tomorrow that I will not spoil. I just thought about it right now, actually.
Damn, I kind of wanted to play a game, but okay. I guess we'll play it tomorrow.
Yeah, I gotta save something for the bonus episode because we'll have plenty more time to talk about preview the Winter Classic tomorrow. Yeah,
True. A couple of games tomorrow that I think are worth looking forward to. Red Wings Penguins, just to see Kane versus Crosby.
Oh, that's always fun. It's fun to watch Kane versus Ovechkin. They were getting into it the other night, and Kane and Crosby. That's always fun to see that.
Jets Avalanche, I think is going to be a fun matchup. And then Flyers and Sharks is like going to be a sneaky.
Mitchkov versus Celebrini. Mitchkov's he was hot, but now he's not. He's kind of going through a little bit of a slump now. He'll be fine though. Like the media will make it sound different, but he'll get locked in. And Celebrini, as much as he's been cooking lately. I will say he's a point per game now. So battle of the two call their favorites, I would say. Mitchkov, so that should be fun.
Mitchkov had a goal and an assist yesterday. So,
he did.
So maybe.
Yeah, he had a slump before that. There you go. He shut me up real quick over there.
Boys, you also have to remember that college football playoffs are happening tomorrow.
Yeah, but that's more so on New Year's Day.
But isn't that why it got pushed back a day?
Isn't
pushed forward a day?
What got pushed forward today?
The Winter Classic. It's tomorrow. Isn't it usually New Year's Day?
Yeah,
New Year's Eve?
Yeah. Sorry. I mean, yeah. I don't know if they had. I don't think they cared about college football at all. To be honest with you, I feel like the NHL doesn't really ever do that. I feel like they're never mindful of what else is going on.
That sums up the NHL for you.
But yeah, normally the game is New Year's Day.
I'd be curious to see why it's different this year. I don't know if they ever explained that. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Tassos is saying because college football is on New Year's Day.
Oh, he's saying that. Okay.
So it got pushed to New Year's Eve.
Is that normally though?
Pushed back a day.
Oh, okay.
And I wonder if they're like, if that's actually were they conscious of that? Were they like,
I mean,
when
college
scheduling
college football now is become one of the
No, I understand that college football is massive. I'm simply just doubting the fact that the NHL was conscious at all.
You're giving them too much credit over there.
That's the point I'm making. Is I don't know if we're maybe giving them too much credit, but
maybe they just wanted to try something different, right? They've been used to doing it in the first, and I feel like it was last year's Winter Classic, like one of the least watched Winter Classics. I think this year they wanted to kind of change it up, right? Get two teams of lore, right? That's why people complain about the Blackhawks being these games all the time. People are going to watch. I guarantee that game's gonna drop. It's going to draw
NHL
viewers, right?
Is conscious of it, guys. Like
Yeah,
we have to remember that this is a multi-million-dollar organization that is wanting to make as many people watch these special events as possible. So I do think that it is in their mind, but I don't think it's like maybe the biggest factor. I think it's one of the top three, let's say.
I don't know. Why don't you play games on Fridays? If the NHL is a multi-billion-dollar and they're so conscious, why don't you play games on Friday, the start of the weekend, where no other major sports are really playing?
Last Friday night.
Also, something that I was thinking about is on Christmas, I was like, why are there no hockey games on Christmas?
Oh, I actually like it to give the players. I like that, actually.
I think it's stupid. Yeah. And so I was listening to 32 Thoughts for a little bit on the way over here today, and they actually brought it, Elliot Friedman brought it up. And it's because of during the last lockout when they were negotiating stuff going forward, it was the players, the NHL put forward the proposal to have games on Christmas, which I think the Winter Classic should be on Christmas. I think you should just have one game and it be the Winter Classic. I think you could take over Christmas. You already see the NFL now getting on it. You see all these different leagues. We should be playing on Christmas. It's one of those days where everybody's in their house. They're gonna have the TV on. They're not working. It's a winter holiday. The NHL hockey is played on ice. You should have the fucking biggest game outdoors during the winter like it just makes so much sense. But what I was saying is that the NHL, it was the players that turned it down. So we would have games, but I guess it was like players were massively against games on Christmas.
Really? That is shocking. They want to spend time with their families on Christmas. How dare them, these players?
No, but what are you talking, dude? All these players from like the NFL, the NBA, they all these guys love playing on the holidays. It's like the biggest game of the year. Like playing on Thanksgiving.
NHL players vote against it then?
Because that's what I'm saying. Like, come on. Like, what are we doing here? Like, if you want your sport to be big, you gotta like want to play on the biggest days of the year.
I guess.
I think it's so weak. I think you literally, the NBA have played on Christmas forever, and they all talk about it like it's like the best thing ever. They get so excited. They have custom jerseys for Christmas games.
Not anymore.
Okay,
they got rid of that, but yeah, they did.
I like the Winter
points
Classic.
stands.
It's like finishing out the year, opening up the new year.
Raven,
I like
you pay attention to the NBA. You know what I'm talking about. The NBA players love playing on Christmas.
Yeah, I mean,
good
I
for them.
think that personally, I think there's too many games throughout the day. I understand like the West Coast game being the last game. That makes sense. I like that. I don't think it needs to start at like 2. I think it could be more of a later activity.
Well, I want to be watching it all day long.
Well, that's probably like football in the morning, basketball at night.
And the NHL just at home.
I see your
time
point.
with
The
families.
NHL not putting their product in front of people's noses on the biggest holiday of the year. Good. That's good for the league. That's good for growth of the game.
Yeah, I'm not going to win this one.
Yeah,
I was out to see, dude.
I don't think anyone can win that. Like, are you actually like happy there's no hockey on Christmas? Like, you wouldn't like to watch an outdoor game on Christmas?
I'd be stuck doing family parties. I wouldn't be able to watch.
You don't. Oh, I was watching the NFL, the couple NFL games like all day long. It would have been awesome if they had an outdoors game. I think that people do it. I think people watch sports on Christmas and Thanksgiving. And,
Well, Thanksgiving, that's different.
And I think that the NHL is just completely missing an opportunity. But I get it. It's nice that people spend time with their families. I'm not saying that the entire league has to play on Christmas. I'm just saying you should have an outdoor event.
One marquee game.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? I don't hate that actually.
Yeah, where you add and you can add we've seen all these commercials of like Connor McDavid advertising Connor Bedard playing in the Winter Classic on New Year's Eve at 4:00. Like you could push a Christmas Day game so easily.
Okay. I see it. I see your vision. I see your vision.
I mean, I'm just thinking about growth here, and I think you gotta, if you want to grow, you gotta
NHL, hire this man.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about that. What else? Anything else?
I think I'm kind of good. I think we'll have plenty more. Again, we do have the bonus show tomorrow before the Winter Classic, so we'll have plenty more to talk about then, and we will be there for the post game as well. Plenty to talk about this week. Big week for us. So, appreciate it. I'll let you do all the follow stuff. You're better at that.
Yeah. Thanks so much for listening. Like, subscribe, follow us on social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all the above. The boys are going to be at the game tomorrow. We're going to be there. We're going to be there very early in the morning tomorrow. And then we're going to come back here, do a show. And then all these guys are going to be at the game. So make sure you're finding B-Hawks meme and taking pics with them and saying what's up and giving them a big hug.
Yeah, make me feel like a celebrity.
Yeah.
You guys getting 3 orders of the Chicago style poutine?
Ooh, poutine.
Oh, yeah. I forgot we didn't talk about that.
You're probably not as enthused by that as I am. I love poutine. That's the best part about Canada.
Dude, poutine is just like, I bet it, honestly, I don't think I've ever tried like a good poutine.
Oh, there you go.
I'm sure I would like it. That doesn't change the fact that it's slop. You know, like it's just shit. Like,
Would you rather have a sloppy Joe or poutine?
I'm not a huge sloppy Joe guy, so I think if you put both in front of me, I'd try the poutine first. That's sloppy Joe's another thing. Like, yeah, you can have a really good sloppy Joe, but it's like
It's slop.
It's still just sloppy ground beef. Like we're not. You know, this is not fucking au gratin here. We're talking about I don't know. I think it as a concept, it's funny. But I mean, it looked pretty fire. I'm sure it's only going to be $27 in that fucking helmet with the $24 stick of a 16-ounce beer.
Money.
Yeah, they're going to be murdering you guys with those prices. I'm talking about the prices of the game dropping down to $150. Yeah, the price of the fucking Chicago poutine's going to be $150.
I will say this: the product on the ice, entertainment better be good because the fact that I have it, a lot of people are putting a lot of money in this game, and not just between the game, between the jerseys and everything else in between. Like the wallet is suffering here, so it better be worth it.
Yeah, dude, that really, like, they have built themselves up for failure almost. Like, I don't want to be so negative and like pessimistic,
I
but
just
it's
have a
like,
hard time promoting this matchup here. Hawks versus Blues Winter Classic. Good rivalry, but the teams are like this year, like not really much. That's funny when you look at the Hawks. Every time they mention the Hawks, all they got is Bedard. That is all they have.
Yeah.
There's not a single other aspect of this team that is worth marketing for this Winter Classic matchup right now. It's just Bedard and friends.
yeah, all the commercials are just all Bedard. It's like the St. Louis Blues take on Connor Bedard.
Yeah, Jordan Kyrou, Robert Thomas, Braden Shed, all these players of the Blues. Then you go to the Blackhawks, Connor Bedard.
Well, also, I don't know how marketable like Robert Thomas and Braden Shen are, and like Brandon Saad at this point.
There's a funny clip actually from the Road to Winter Classic episode where Braden Shen's son is asked who his favorite player is. He said Connor Bedard.
That's fire.
even the Blues player's kid's favorite player was Bedard. Anyway, it's funny too. Patrick Broom was actually recently in St. Louis for the holidays. Hopefully, he was scouting out the ops there with Lucas Reichel. So
Probably not. He's probably giving them intel. I'm just kidding. All right, yeah.
there.
Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, we will be doing a show tomorrow morning. So have your post notifications on and be ready to tap in. Peace out.